Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you and welcome back once again on the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. Now my dear friends, with just 40 days left for our CAT examination, all of you must be under some kind of pressure. Now these are the last stages of your preparation in which all of you must be focusing on revising all the concepts that you have already covered. You must be practicing some new set of questions and you might be looking for plugging the loopholes that are there in the preparation, and you must be focusing on your weak areas. Now, every person must be doing something different in order to increase the score in these last 40 days by at least a few percentiles. Okay. Now, keeping all those things in mind, just to streamline your preparation in case you are slightly confused what to be done in these last 40 days. So I'm here once again with a session on the preparation strategy specifically that can be adapted for quantitative ability in these last 40 days. Right? So I don't want any one of you to be wasting time not even a day or not even an hour in thinking about what should be the right preparation strategy for these 40 days. Right? So there might be some things since a lot of students are not at all experienced, so they might be needing some kind of guidance in order to streamline the preparation so that they will not get into a wrong direction. They don't get start they don't start walking towards the wrong direction. So, like every time, I have conducted a session one month ago, I have conducted a session 6 months ago, I have conducted a similar session 1 year ago, in order to talk about the different strategies depending upon the time that is left for us for the preparation of CAT. Now 40 days to go. So let us begin this session. So अजय भाई सर, मेरा algebra chapter पूरा clear नहीं है, क्या करूं practice और clear? So Ajay, wait for a few minutes. So I'll tell you what all things you need to focus on in these last few days. Okay, अब क्या क्या करना चाहिए, क्या क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. I'll be discussing all these things in this session. Okay, Kush Patel is saying, thanks for conducting this special classes. Kush, we are always here to help out all the students. So it's obviously your dream to get a good percentile, but it is also our will that all our students who are enrolled with us, who are not even enrolled with us, doesn't matter at all. But as a mentor, as an educator, I want my students to be doing good in CAT examination. All right, great. So let's begin with this session. So this will be the small agenda for this session. Obviously, in this session today will not be solving questions. So I have conducted plenty of sessions in which I have brought different types of questions for all of you. But today's session will be completely based on discussing this strategy. Also, if anyone is struggling with something, I'm not asking struggling with any topic. If you are struggling in making a strategy, if you don't understand what to be done now, what should be my next step, so you can post your confusion or query in the chat box, and I'll probably help you in dealing with all those things. Like Ajay has mentioned, मेरा algebra chapter पूरा clear नहीं है. So what should be done in algebra? So definitely I'll be answering these type of questions in this session. Right? Now, talking about the agenda, so we'll briefly discuss the previous year stats that I always do. So I'll not be spending more than 3 to 4 minutes on previous year stats, and we'll be focusing more on the strategy for QA section in these last 40 days. All right. So let's quickly go through the stats. So number of questions in CAT, quick glance. So this is how QA section has behaved in the last few years, right? Now the pattern has been constant in the last 2 years. Okay, so there have been there were 22 questions in each of these years of CAT examination in the QA section. Before that, there were 26 questions in all these 3 years since it was post-COVID era. Okay, so there were 40 minutes that were given for the QA section. But pre-COVID era, I can say that the number of questions in 2019 and 2018 were 34 each, and 60 minutes were given to finish this. So our concern, if I'll talk about the pattern of CAT examination, should be the last 2 or last 3 years. Because this year in CAT 2023, a similar kind of pattern will repeat. My expectation is 22 questions in QA section with a total of 40 minutes. So 40 minutes तो हमें पता है, but number of questions कितने होंगे ये clarity नहीं है, 100% कोई नहीं बोल सकता. So my estimate is, my assumption is there will be again 22 questions, okay, in the QA section, and the time allocated will be 40 minutes. Okay, all right. Hello, Sonali. Moving ahead, this was the number of questions. Now, major areas under QA. All of us knows that the most important area is arithmetic. The second most important area is algebra. And then the next three areas, geometry, number systems, and modern mathematics. Okay. So those who have recently started their preparation, fine, they can write CAT examination, but I'm of the opinion. So you can consider the advice that I'll be giving you. So if you are taking CAT examination, if you're writing CAT examination with a preparation of only 2 or 3 months, fine, you can go ahead, get a percentile. But at any point in time, if you think that you are not satisfied with your percentile, and you have a caliber such that you can improve your score in CAT examination, then give yourself 1 more year. At least give yourself a minimum of 6 to 8 months for the preparation of CAT, and then write CAT examination. Okay, so do not take admission in any random MBA college just on the basis of incomplete preparation. Okay, right? So I'll cut it short. So these are the major 5 areas. Now, sorry, these are the 5 areas, and these are the two most important areas. So now you know that if you have recently started your preparation, which are the 2 areas in QA section that you must focus on in these last few days. But majority of us have been preparing since last 5 to 6 months, so they must have finished the entire syllabus. So for these kind of students, in these last 40 days, obviously you must be doing the revision of all these 5 areas. But these are the two major areas, arithmetic and algebra are the two major areas in which you should be spending majority of your time. All right, because like if I talk about 22 questions that came in the last year QA section, majority of the question, I'll not use the word majority, but more than 66% of this of the questions were from these two areas. Okay, right? Kush, रुक जाओ. Rodotalks, I have not yet touched geometry in this last 40 days, how to prepare geometry. So Rodo, give me a few minutes, guys. So please be ready with your questions, right? So I might be covering some of the queries like by myself. In case I do not, please be ready with your questions, and I shall be giving you last 10 to 15 minutes to handle all these queries. Okay, so जो भी personal queries है, you can throw them, but please अभी थोड़ा सा wait करो. Give me 15 minutes. Let me cover up what I want to say. Okay, what I want to advise you. What are my suggestions for all of you, and then I'll take your queries. Right. Now, in QA section of CAT, this is the breakup. So if I talk about the last year, CAT 2022, 8 to 9 questions were from arithmetic and 4 to 9 questions were from algebra. So in total, I can say that from these two areas, more than 15 questions were there in CAT QA section. Similar is the story for the year before that, and similar is the story in the years before that. Okay, right? So these are the two major important areas that you need to focus on if you have not finished the syllabus yet, if you have recently started preparing for CAT examination, right? Anyone who is fully prepared for CAT, who was preparing since last minimum of 8 to 9, 7 to 8 months. So I'll be giving different type of suggestions to all the other students, but after a few minutes, once we are done with looking at the statistics related to CAT examination. Now, this is the reason why I'm saying that arithmetic has been important, and these are the different areas in arithmetic. I have covered all these things plenty of times, so I will quickly run through these slides. So arithmetic, this is the breakup of the number of questions we have got in the last 5 to 6 years. This is the breakup for algebra. You can understand which are the most important topics, which are the most important subtopics in algebra and the other areas. Now, this is for geometry, modern maths, and number systems. Okay. Now, score versus percentile. Again, you know that if you are able to get 33.5 marks, that means effectively 11 to 12 questions correct. That means effectively 50% score if you will get in the QA section, then you will be able to sit at 99 percentile plus in the QA section. This is according to the last year. Now, according to the level of difficulty, things may change, but things don't change drastically. So if I'll go back 1 year before CAT 2022. So in CAT 2021, at a score of 35 to 36, that means at a effective number of questions of 12, you have achieved this feat. So 11 questions in CAT 2022, 12 questions in CAT 2021. Similar story has been repeated almost every year, right? So you can say that around 50% of marks in QA section can get you 99 plus percentile in this section. Okay, all right. Now moving ahead, talking about the thing that for which we are here for. So strategy for QA section for the last 40 days. So now let us understand with a cool and calm mind what needs to be done in these last 40 days. Point number one, revise all the concepts, especially arithmetic and algebra. Now, when I say revise all these concepts, so the speed of revision should not be very slow. It should not be slow. Okay. So if I'm asking you to revise entire arithmetic, it should be done in 2 days. Revision का मतलब क्या है? Let's understand what do I mean by revision. So revision means practice all the bookmark questions and the concepts. Now, I'm sure that all of you must be marking some of the important concepts. So, like you must be noting down all these concepts in a separate notebook. Okay. And you must be bookmarking some of the important questions, some of the difficult questions up till now. So now in these, or I'll not say in last 40 days, but this should be done in the next 10 to 15 days. Okay. So in the next 10 to 15 days, what you need to do is start from arithmetic, finish all the topics of arithmetic, then go to algebra, finish all the topics of algebra, then move on to geometry, finish it, number system, modern maths, like this. So all these 5 areas, you can spend 2 days on an average on each area and revise all the bookmarked concepts and the bookmarked questions. All right. So the list of questions will be probably in entire arithmetic. You must have bookmarked a total of 80 to 100 questions. Now, solving these 80 to 100 questions should not be taking more than one entire day. All right. Now, these are the questions which you have marked because of the level of difficulty of these questions, because of probably any new logic or concept that has been used in those questions. Okay. So this particular thing should be done in the next 10 to 15 days. On daily basis, you can spend 4 to 5 hours on the QA section, right? 3 to 4 hours on DILR section and 3 to 4 hours on VARC section. So if you are taking out 4 to 5 hours for QA, then you can manage to revise all the concepts and the bookmark questions in maximum of 15 days. All right, fine. So this is one thing that you need to do as the practice for the revision of the concepts and the bookmark questions. Now moving ahead, what should be the next thing? Now parallelly, you should be continuing with your mocks, right? Now, if you are not doing a proper analysis of the mocks, then it is time to start doing a proper analysis of every mock that you are writing. I have been suggesting to do a proper analysis of every mock since last 6 months. Okay, so if you haven't started it yet, then it's time to do that. Okay, now what needs to be done when I'm doing the analysis? So let's say in the morning today, I have taken a mock paper. There are three sections, VRC, LRDI, and QA. If I talk about QA section, so after finishing up with a mock, you will get your scores, you will get the solutions of that mock. Fine. Now, once the mock is over, if we get good marks, we get very happy and we forget that mock paper. If we don't get good marks, we are depressed and we don't look back at that mock. In any situation, this should not be done. So whatever your score is, irrespective of that, you must look back and do a proper analysis of the entire mock test. In the QA section, understand how many questions have appeared from each of these five areas. Bifurcation karo. Arithmetic, there were 5 questions. Algebra, there were 9 questions. Modern mathematics, how many questions are there? Okay, so do a proper bifurcation and find out of these, let's say, 10 questions of arithmetic. If you are able to do 6 questions and you have left 4 questions, then try to figure out the reason why you have left these 4 questions or whatever the number of questions it is. Okay, so do I don't know the concept behind these questions? Were these questions lengthy? Were these questions difficult? And I decided to leave those questions during the mock. Okay, so whatever be the reason, try to find out that reason and then try to plug in that reason. What do I mean by plug in that reason? So that means if you don't know the concept of the concept that needs to be applied in that question, then try to read that concept. So if a question is from averages, mixtures, and allegations, and you are confident about this topic and still you are unable to solve a question from averages, mixtures, allegations, then it's an alarming situation. Okay, so I am very confident and strong in arithmetic, I'm strong in mixtures and allegations, and still I'm unable to solve a question. Okay, so that should ring a bell in your mind. So once you get this type of question, which you have left unattempted or which you have attempted incorrectly, then try to figure out your mistake. Try to figure out the reason behind your error or the reason behind not attempting that question. Okay, right? So these are the days in which you can increase your score drastically. Or like I've seen students increasing their scores, increasing their percentiles by 20 points. So they are sitting at somewhere around 65 to 70, and in actual cat they have achieved more than 90-95 percentile. So yes, you can do this thing in these last 40 days. Okay, so take mock paper, do a proper analysis, and work on your errors after every mock. Now, what should be the frequency of taking mock examination? So now mock examination can you can take mock papers every 3 to 4 days. Okay, so there can be a gap of 3 to 4 days between any two mocks. So that means in a week you can take two mocks, you can write two mocks. Done? Now, what should be done between these mock papers? So this is the next step. Now you must write sectional tests in between the mocks. So let's say today you have written a mock paper and you will not be writing the next mock for the next 3 days, right? So what you can do is day after tomorrow, that means alternately, you can write sectional test. Now, whenever you are writing sectional test, pick up one sectional test of verbal RC, pick up one sectional test of DILR, and pick up one sectional of QA, combine them and write it as a mock paper. Okay, so you will have to sit for 40 plus 40 plus 40, that means 120 minutes continuously, and attempt these three sectionals of each area continuously without taking a break. Okay, right? And then do the same thing, do a proper analysis. I understand that you must be exhausted with mock papers. Okay, so I have seen every institute providing not more than 25 mock papers. Okay, and you must be exhausted with a lot of them. So if you want to get a more practice of mock papers, so this is one thing that you can do. Club three sectional test, make it a mock paper, and attempt these three things, three sectionals continuously. Okay, right? Okay. All right. Next, the last step is do not touch any new, entirely new concept. Fine. Now, probably like some of you might have left some of the chapters which are not very important. So if I'll name these areas, I can say trigonometry, coordinate geometry, mensuration, right? So these are some areas that people tend to leave. Okay. So if you have no knowledge about these areas, then there is no need to pick up these areas. Fine. So whatever you have already completed, now it's time to focus on the revision of those concepts rather than picking up something new and then spending your time in building up the concepts first of all. So abhi to hame concepts nahi pata. So we'll be spending more amount of time in learning those concepts. Fine. And then we'll spend more time in practicing some basic questions. Then we'll spend more time in practicing some advanced level questions. Then we'll be able to reach up to the level of CAT. So unnecessarily, you will be spending 2 to 3 days on a single topic rather than you can practice or revise all the topics that you have already covered. So it's better not to pick up any new concept. Now, one of the students was asking, Rodotalks, I have not yet touched geometry in this last 40 days, how to prepare for geometry. So now, Rodo, you haven't touched the entire area, the entire, what I call, like a group of chapters. So geometry is not a single topic; it's a complete area, right? Now, as far as my experience says about geometry, in geometry, triangles is the most important thing. Triangles is the backbone of geometry. So if you are good with triangles, then the concepts that you have learned in triangles can be applied in circles, quadrilaterals, and polygons, right? So majority of the concepts that we have learned in triangles are applied directly in the other areas as well. So what you can do is you can spend 2 days, right? 2 days completely. ऐसा नहीं है कि like on daily basis you are studying just for 2 hours. So in that case, you will not be able to deal with anything in these last 40 days. So you'll have to increase the number of hours that you are devoting for the preparation of CAT. So minimum 10 hours should be spent on every day in the preparation for CAT. All right. So if you have left something behind, if you are a student whose syllabus is completed, so in that case you can afford to spend 4 or 5 hours towards studies for CAT. But at this point in time, if you have left a lot of things, then you need to increase the number of hours, minimum 10 hours a day. Okay. So what I was saying is, if you don't have time to practice the entire geometry, then you can just take out 2 days and finish up triangles. Just learn all the concepts of triangles, all the theorems and all the formulas of triangles. Okay. And practice at least 50 questions based on that. 50 questions minimum practice karo 2 days mein. And then after these 2 days, obviously you will be encountering some questions of geometry in the upcoming days, and probably you'll be able to solve half of them. Okay, so this is how you can treat geometry, right? So my last pointer was, you should not be picking up any new concept, but concept means a subtopic in a given topic. So let's say time, speed, distance. You have not done the concept of circular races, so you can leave it. Fine, but if you have not practiced time, speed, distance, then there's a problem. So at least build up some of the basics of time, speed, distance. So this is what I was trying to say. All right. So this is it from my side. These are some tips that you can apply in the last 40 days of your preparation. Now it's time to take up some of the queries that were asked by some of the students. So Ajay bhai, you were asking, सर मेरा अलजेब्रा चैप्टर पूरा क्लियर नहीं है, क्या करूं, प्रैक्टिस और क्लियर? So algebra is not a chapter, is again an area which has a lot of topics. Okay, so Ajay, first of all, try to figure it out that in algebra, what are the topics, what are the chapters that you have already covered. So the most important areas in algebra, if I'll go behind, so I can show you. So this is the list of topics that have been asked in CAT examination from algebra. The most important area is equations, quadratic equations and linear equations. So you can see quadratic and linear equations, then sequence and series, logarithms and functions. So what you can do is right now, if you are less confident in algebra, you can leave this topic of functions. But other than this, quadratic, sequence and series, logarithms and linear equations, practice these four areas thoroughly. ओके, सो अगर आपने अलजेब्रा पूरा कंप्लीट नहीं किया है, आई एम श्योर यू मस्ट हैव डन दीज फोर चैप्टर्स और मेजॉरिटी ऑफ दीज फोर चैप्टर्स. सो क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशंस, लीनियर इक्वेशंस, सीक्वेंस एंड सीरीज, इन तीनों को फिनिश करो. देन स्टार्ट विद लॉगरिथम्स बिकॉज according to me logarithms is one of the important areas that is asked in CAT examination. All right, so this is how you can carry forward your preparation for CAT with algebra. Okay. Okay, now any other query? Not touch geometry, fine. Sir, syllabus completed, but accuracy is 40%. So Kush, uh, the reason of getting low accuracy is probably lack of analysis. So you have not been doing a proper analysis. You are not finding out your weakness. You're not finding out what kind of errors that you are making. Are they calculation errors? Are they conceptual errors? Okay, are these silly mistakes? So you are not keeping a check on your mistakes. As soon as you will start doing that, your accuracy will keep on increasing. Another reason of low accuracy is like large number of attempts. Okay, higher number of attempts. So generally what people think is if I'll attempt more questions, I will get more marks. So what they do is they compromise on their accuracy and they try to increase their speed. That means they will have less amount of time for every question. ओके, सो वो क्या करते हैं कि यू वुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस वर्ड हबड़ा तबड़ी में रैंडम गलत आंसर्स मार्क करना शुरू कर देते हैं बिकॉज दे डोंट गिव एनफ अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड on every question. So what you may do is right now for the next 10 days you can reduce your speed, focus more on your accuracy. This should have been done 3 months ago, but fine, abhi bhi der nahi hui hai. So you can start doing one thing. You can compromise on your speed a little bit. So if you're attempting 15 questions in the QA section, you can reduce the number of attempts. So you can attempt 9 to 10 questions, and that will increase your accuracy. You can spend a little bit more time on every question. Fine. Also, before you mark the answer of any question, just before you mark, go back to the question and find out what is being asked once again. Okay, just read the last two lines of the question and then mark your answer. That increases the accuracy definitely. Okay, so these are some things that you can do. So I've just taken an example. That means if you are attempting 15, 16 questions, reduce the number of attempts to 8 to 9. If you are already attempting only 8 or 9 questions, you can reduce the number of attempts to 6 or 7 and spend more amount of time. Okay, all right. Now Sonali is saying, sir, I find previous year questions of quant easy or doable, but in mocks it seems difficult. So Sonali, why this happens? I'll tell you. So generally during the time of your preparation, so we in our lectures as well, what we do is we try to keep or we try to cover up the concepts which are used in the previous year paper questions of CAT examinations, right? And after doing that, we try to make or frame questions that have some new logics or some new concepts or some new twist. फाइन. सो जो प्रैक्टिस आप क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हो वो भी हमने बनाए हैं, but they are based on the concepts of previous year paper questions of CAT, and the mock papers that you are taking, that are also made by us. So what we are doing is we are keeping in mind whatever is already learnt by students, and what are the new things or the new ways in which the questions can be asked, so that the students are able to cover up maximum amount of things, maximum number of concepts, maximum number of ways of handling the twist in the question. Okay, so do not worry. Take these mock papers as a medium of practicing different new questions. So mock paper is also a study material. Okay, fine. So mock paper is also study material using which you are able to learn new concepts. You are able to learn how to handle different types of questions, different complexities which are there in the question. That's it. Okay. All right. Let's take some more questions. Vimal says, thank you, sir. Sir, 4 hours for QA is enough. SS, nothing is enough. ठीक है ना? Enough कुछ भी नहीं है कैट के लिए. जितना ज्यादा सी एक कहावत सुनी होगी, जितना गुड़ डालोगे उतना मीठा होगा. ठीक है? So this directly applies for CAT examination. जितना ज्यादा स्टडी करोगे, the more you will study, the better score you will get. So if you have 4 hours, let's say if you have a maximum of 4 hours for QA, try for 4.5 hours. If you can take out 10 hours in a day for the entire CAT preparation, try to take out 12 hours. The day you start taking out 12 hours, the next day try for 13 hours. Okay, so this should be a type of hunger that should not be fulfilled. Okay, so ये जो भूख है ये हमेशा बढ़ती रहनी चाहिए to study for CAT, and this thing you can do in last 40 days. I am not telling you, if you are an aspirant of, let's say, CAT 2024, so I'm not asking you to spend 14 hours on daily basis for the next 1 year for the preparation of CAT. This is impractical because you might be working somewhere, you might be studying in a college, you might be doing graduation. No, it is not practical. But in these last 40 days, it is doable. So please do that. Stretch karo apne aap ko. Sir, I have concepts clear of permutation and combination probability because of 11. Last, I have studied both, but I have not watched classes of these two. Yes, yes. So, Kush, again, if you have time to practice questions of PNC, so whatever we have done in school or whatever we had done in college, the concepts are same, but the way the questions are asked is totally different. And if you are depending upon your knowledge or whatever you have studied in 11th or 12th standard or maybe 9th or 10th standard, if you're depending on that, I would say that please don't do. Okay, because हमारी मेमोरी इतनी ज्यादा स्ट्रांग नहीं होती. ठीक है, so it's better to go for one round of revision for permutation and combination. बहुत सारी नई चीजें हैं. There are lots of new things, lots of new concepts, lots of new types of questions that we haven't done in 11th or 12th standard or whenever we have studied PNC. Zilani says, my mock score are stuck at 60s from last 2 weeks. I can't make myself. Zilani, such kind of situation comes with every person. Okay, so you must be happy that your score is consistent. There are plenty of students who might be watching this session. There are plenty of students who might not be watching this session. जिनका score decrease हो रहा है. Their score is decreasing in 2 or 3 mocks. So it does not matter. Fine, if in 3 or 4 mocks your score is constant, no worries at all. The score is not the parameter to judge your performance or your improvement. It might be possible that, let's say, I consider 2 mocks, mock A and mock B. Fine. In mock A, you have scored 60. In mock B, you have scored 60. Equal. Is this the parameter that can prove that you have not improved? No. If I say that the level of difficulty of second mock is more than the first mock and still you have scored 60, that means you have improved. Okay, so please don't be depressed. Every mock is a new learning. So after every mock, do a proper analysis, understand, find out what mistakes, what errors you have committed. Okay, so you will not be getting admission on the basis of your mock score. ये एक बहुत बड़ी understanding है. जितना जल्दी समझोगे उतना अच्छा रहेगा. So you are not going to get an admission in MBA college because of your mock scores, but because of your CAT score. If you'll stop taking mock papers, if you'll stop having improvisation in your studies. I'm not saying improvise your mock score. No, I'm saying improvise your learning. Learning increase होनी चाहिए, mock का score increase हो या ना हो, CAT में definitely ये चीज reflect करेगी. Okay, so please do not stop taking mock, because mocks will not decide your admission. It is the CAT score which will decide your final admission. All right. Okay. Send my last month. Fine. So Zilani, I have just covered this up. So Rodotalks, sometimes I feel demotivated when I can't crack the problem. How to overcome it? Rodo, you must be happy that you are not able to crack a problem. That means this is one type of questions that you need to prepare for. Okay, so you are having some weak points in front of yourself. Also, Rodo, just to help you out, just to increase your confidence, I have been teaching since last 15 years. 15 years. Still, today also, I am unable to solve 100% of the questions. Still, I face some questions which I am unable to solve. Fine. So we are humans. We cannot solve each and every problem. Okay. If we'll start solving every problem, कैट में जो क्वेश्चंस बना रहे हैं उनकी जो मेहनत है वो वेस्ट नहीं हो जाएगी क्या? ठीक है. So even if you are unable to solve all the questions, it's absolutely fine. It's just that a question that comes in front of you, if you are unable to solve it, looking at the solution, looking at the concept, if you are able to understand that, and you are confident that if the similar type of question comes in front of you the next time, you will be able to solve it, then fine, solve it, learn it, and move ahead. Okay. All right. Okay, so friends, that's all from my side. I think it's a lot of things that I have covered. So I would call it a day at this point in time with some useful information for all of you. So students, all of you now can unlock your free trial access of 3 days on the portal of BYJU'S Exam Prep. So you can just visit our application, use this facility to unlock your free trial for 3 days. Also, you can enroll for our test series for CAT and non-CAT examination. So these are all the things that will be covered in the test series. This is the list of our CAT 2022 toppers. Now, NMAT 2023 exam decoded, a detailed analysis with expected cutoffs and the strategy to crack NMAT 2023 will be covered in the live exam analysis on 20th of October at 7 p.m. So join us live, join Gautam Bava sir live for the detailed exam analysis for NMAT 2023. Also, you can get up to 90% scholarship on CAT preparation programs. The next scholarship test is on 21st of October at 11 a.m. So do register for this test by visiting our application of BYJU'S Exam Prep. Friends, you all should be ready for this CAT 2023 crash course. 20 plus power packed live sessions, highly probable questions, and section wise score booster. It will be covered in these sessions. We are starting this from 23rd of October, almost on daily basis at 7 p.m. This is CAT 2023 crash course. Join us live for all these sessions. All India Open Mock CAT 2023. The last free mock will be live on 27th of October up till 5th of November. Visit our application to register for this free All India Open Mock CAT 2023. That's all from my side. You can get social with us on all these social media platforms. A very, very thank you to all of you for being a part of this session, and all the best for these 40 days of your preparation for CAT 2023. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.